Well, I'm going to brag on you for a little bit because listen to these numbers. 19 and a half units last year, 54 units to date. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah.
Last year's volume was almost 5 million. What will your volume be this year?
Well, right now I'm sitting at a little over 15 and a half.
To go from buying your own first home to selling 65 of them in 2 years is crazy. I mean, it's just amazing. Hello and welcome to another Top Agent interview. I'm Mark King with Keller Williams Realty International, and I'm here with the amazing Taylor Hunt from the Carolinas. Hello, Taylor.
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful and so excited to be here with you today. I want to hear your story because it's pretty outrageous what you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. So let's start out with what we call Cradle to Realtor. Tell me all about your background in a couple minutes and what led you to get into this business.
Yeah, so I am originally from North Carolina. I service the Columbia, South Carolina area now, and I got here because I'm a military spouse, and this is where the Army took us. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, surrounded by a lot of people that were from the same background as myself. So my husband and I are both American Indian from the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, and we grew up in that general area. I went to college in my hometown and never really left until I moved away because I decided to marry someone that the Army dictated where we were going to live. So I went to school, got a master's in business, and prior to that, I got a bachelor's in public relations. And after getting my master's in business, I decided that I wanted to pursue real estate. It was right in the middle of COVID, and I was in a brand new state, brand new town, didn't really know anybody except for my husband and a few of his friends. And I just kind of took off from there.
I guess you did. Well, first of all, thank you and your husband for your service, and we really appreciate that. And you mentioned you started during COVID. What a great time to start a service-based, human-to-human fiduciary type of service business.
Yeah, it was tough. I did not expect to do very much of any production my first year. I was pregnant with my first daughter, and she's still my only daughter, but I just was very much inside a lot. And so that kept me focused on social media because that was the best way for me to reach the people and the target audience that I was trying to get in touch with. I couldn't physically go most places unless it was for work specifically. So I did a lot online. And it became one of the best things that I could have ever done because my business has really grown on social media. You know, being in a new place and not knowing a lot of people, I didn't know how I would build a service-based business where who you know matters and the network is your net worth. And so it has really given me a solid foundation. I didn't think that it would, but it ended up working out for the best.
Well, I'm going to brag on you for a little bit because listen to these numbers. 19 and a half units last year, really your first full year in the business. And do I have this right? 54 units to date. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah.
Wow. Second year in the business. By the way, last year's volume was almost 5 million. What will your volume be this year?
Well, right now I'm sitting at a little over 15 and a half if I'm thinking of sold and under contract.
Let me just pause right there. Some of the older folks on this call took years and years and years to build a business that size. You did it in less than 2. I have to know what you're doing. Talk more to me about this whole social media thing. What exactly are you doing?
So I am very consistent on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm starting to pursue other channels as well because I think there are different audiences everywhere and different types of people that you can meet on different platforms. I have really been able to engage with my target audience. So being a military spouse, I find myself in military-centered Facebook groups a lot. And I think of real estate in the military community a little bit differently. Whenever you grow up in an area, you kind of know everyone and everything. But when you're PCSing and moving to a different area, you rely on the other military families to tell you what is where and where you can find good resources. So I have really been able to build a solid foundation of military families through those Facebook groups and through networking with other military spouses online, on Instagram, and different social media platforms. And what has happened is they have become like piranhas. Whenever somebody is saying, we're moving to the area, we're going to get there in December, or whenever they're going to arrive, who should we know? Who do we need to hire to help us find a house? And my clients just kind of flock to this comment section and say, you've got to know Taylor. You have to use her. And between that and personal referrals that my clients will send me, and agent referrals for other military spouses or military-centered agents that service another military installation that I've been able to network with on social media, I would say it makes up about 85% of my business, some sort of referral-based lead source.
So
and
many.
then, yeah, the other 15% is just basic people finding me on social media and running with it.
Well, this is amazing. There's so many amazing lessons to learn from this so far. Number one would be grow where you're planted. Wherever you find yourself, in your case, you're a military spouse, you've been moved several times, you're in an area you don't know anyone. So you started with what you had and you did what you could, and you kind of grew where you were planted. This is phenomenal. You also talk a lot about being a mom first. And so that's a big part of your passion. And you've actually kind of inspired a lot of other people to either look at this business or think about their lives a little bit differently. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I found out that I was pregnant on the day that I was going to take my real estate exam. And it really has been the standard that I have had my daughter with me through the entire process. For the first year of my career, I took her with me everywhere: inspections, closings, meetings, anywhere I needed to be. She was with me because we don't have family that is right around. And I think that a lot of people can just kind of relate to that, especially my target audience. You know, people who are moving away from their family and kind of have to do everything with their kids on their hip. And I just think that it's really important to be real and authentic about that. You know, it's not always easy. Sometimes you'll hear my daughter in the background of a phone call, and when other parents say that same thing to me, you know, they apologize. I'm sorry, you can hear my kids. And I'm like, nope, totally fine. I get it. And I just think that being open and authentic about the struggle that can come with being a parent and running a business and trying to do it all, and sometimes falling a little short, makes people relate to you and want to work with you because they feel like they already know you.
Yeah, this is a personal relationship business. It's a fiduciary type of business, and you're very real, you're very authentic, and you're very relatable. And so I love that. One of the things that you mentioned that I think is key to touch on here, you said you were very consistent with your social media posts. What does that mean?
Every day. And not even just, it's not even just about time and how often you do it. It's about the messaging too. So you have to make sure that if your focus is real estate and family, like mine is, that's what you're going to find on my pages across the board. You're going to find information that is valuable to you as a consumer, and then information that is relatable to you as a consumer. So no matter what platform you find me on, you'll find me talking about my daughter, my husband, our military background, real estate, how real estate can help you as a VA loan user, how real estate can help you as a first-time home buyer like we were 2 years ago. And I see all the time that people just don't understand the value in purchasing a home and investing in real estate, or they don't know the process of selling a home because they've never been there. So I feel like it's my job to consistently educate people and shed light on the things that they just don't know anything about. And when I do that, I think it kind of gives off this feeling that she knows what she's talking about. We can trust her with such a big investment.
Yeah. To go from buying your own first home to selling 65 of them in 2 years or 75 of them is crazy. I mean, it's just amazing. So go back to, is there a magic ratio between personal posts or business posts, or do you even think about those things?
No, I don't think so. I just think that you do what feels natural. If you're forcing yourself to post 3 pictures of your kid every week and then make sure that the other 4 are real estate related, then it feels unenjoyable. So you just have to do what makes you happy and be who you are in the moment. I mean, I post stuff about like the new makeup that I just bought at Sephora. And I think that that's not real estate related at all, but it gives people another opportunity to engage with me. And, some people might look at my profile and say, well, this has nothing to do with buying or selling real estate. But if I just post that content all the time, people will get bored. Sometimes people don't want to get on their Instagram app and learn how to invest in property. Sometimes they just want to watch something and learn something totally different. So I just, and when you're having fun, when you're doing it, then you do it more often and it does come across very real and organic. And then that in turn helps you create organic relationships, which gives you organic business.
There's a theme in a lot of the top agents in this industry right now that your lead generation strategy, or your what I would call your lead acquisition strategy, be something that's very natural and kind of already in your strength zone. For example, I often talk about how I was never comfortable door knocking, or I was never a heavy cold caller, or, of course we do things we have to get your business going. So would your advice be, if let's say you're teaching me or coaching me because I want to be you someday, and if I don't love the Twitter and the face pages and all those things, would you advise me to do it anyway? Would you advise me to stay away from it? What are your thoughts there?
I think that you should at least do a little bit of it. I mean, only because we are in a new era. This is not where you look in a phone book and find a real estate agent. This is where you Google real estate agents in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you have some sort of internet presence, then you're going to pop up in those searches. You're going to pop up when people look up somebody on Facebook. And I think it's really important. Everybody says don't be a secret agent. I mean, as a real estate agent, people should be able to go to your social media profile and learn who you are and learn what you do and what value you provide, but also be able to figure out how to connect with you. At least show them online, this is my number, this is my email, this is how you get in touch with me if you want to hire me. If people can't easily access you in a digital age, then they're just going to pick the next person that pops up on their Google. So you have to have some sort of presence, even if it means leveraging that and hiring it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of proving we're kind of living in that influencer era, right? And you're kind of proving that can lead to great business as long as you treat it correctly. So, by the way, anybody out there who has referrals for Columbia, South Carolina, what's your handle? Like, how do we find you on Instagram? How do we find some examples of what you're talking about?
My Instagram is Tayley.soldit, and that is how you can find me across every platform as well. Facebook is the same thing, facebook.com/Tayley.soldit. I have just kind of kept that because that's where I started. And I do sprinkle in a couple other things like TayleyHunt.com or TalkWithTayley.com. So I have several different domains, but my main one on Instagram and Facebook are both Tayley.soldit.
Tayley.soldit. Okay. And so quick question. You're also highly educated, and you mentioned you got your MBA. Congratulations on that. Has that, do you find that helps you in your real estate business?
100%. I think while you don't have to go to college to become a real estate agent, I think the experiences that I had networking in college, both getting my public relations degree and getting my master's in business, really helped set a solid foundation for the knowledge that I would need to create a solid business. When you have a real estate career, it is more than just a hobby, it's a business, and you have to run it that way. And so I think the knowledge that I have of public relations and how to reach consumers in a way that is effective for you, them, and the business itself, coupled with the business knowledge that I have in the background of that, have just really paid dividends for me.
Well, I have to tell you, it is a pleasure to meet you and share your story. Everything from the military spouse and all the support you give to that community, to the inspiration you are for so many moms out there, to teaching some older people about this whole social media thing. This is just outstanding, and I think you're on a rocket ship, my friend. And
Thank you.
nothing but huge growth in your future. Anything else that you want to add as we close out today?
I don't think so, but I do want to say thank you for the opportunity to sit down. I think that this is kind of what Keller Williams culture is all about. You know, somebody who just started real estate 2 years ago, talking to someone who has years and years of experience. You don't get that at every company. And I think that the tools and the opportunities that KW has provided me will really contribute to the success of my business long term. So I'm very appreciative.
Well, you are amazing, and hopefully you all enjoyed that interview with a superstar in the making. Already sold more houses than I think I did my first 3 full years in this business, but we won't talk about that. Taylor Hunt, everybody, thank you very much for being here, Taylor.
Thank you.